Does not feel like a good place to shiny hunt. I wonder though, what if I did this? I think I'm a genius for this one. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Zip, and I'm here today with another improvement to the isolated encounter shiny hunting method. If you missed this last video, I compiled a spreadsheet of all the Pokemon that can be isolated in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and where you can isolate them. Now, most of these are fairly common locations, but I wanted to see if there was any interesting or unique locations possible where you could shiny hunt something you didn't previously think you could. I've seen clips going around on Twitter and Twitch of people shiny hunting by sitting on the cliff face in the North Paldean Sea and waiting for Pokemon to despawn in the water below them. And I figured today I'd show you my slight improvement to that method. This little tip was able to get me not only a cloyster from the North Paldean Sea, but also pawniards and fortress. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to know about this method is how the game spawns new Pokemon. From my experimentation, I believe it works a little bit like this. There are two spheres that matter here. One sphere, which is when Pokemon go outside of the sphere, they despawn. And another sphere, much closer to you where Pokemon shouldn't spawn. Any area in between the two spheres is able to spawn a new Pokemon when the cap hasn't been reached. Pretty frequently, Pokemon would wander outside of the sphere they spawned in and into the despawn area and disappear, meaning a new Pokemon would spawn in its place. What we've improved here can actually work in more than just the North Paldean Sea. This can apply to basically any cliff face in the game. And these spawn spheres will come in very handy while you're doing this method. Okay, so we've made our steel type sandwich boost. So we're specifically looking for the pawniard that only spawns in the river biome, meaning it spawns like right next to the river, basically. Along this strip is where they spawn. So I'm gonna run over here onto the wall. We kind of gotta get the height right for nothing to spawn in the water. And now we just go like this for 30 minutes and I think we're gonna find a shiny. And so I would say it's not, I mean, it's not completely isolated, but this is like 95% pawniards. I mean, this might be faster than like most of the other isolated methods, because at least now I know where I'm looking for everything. It's all right directly in front of me, you know? When a Pokemon hits the light, it gets despawned, and that's that. Wow, this is incredible. Oh my god, there's one right there. Dude, let's go. That was so quick. This is the tech for this one specific Pokemon. It takes you 3 minutes to find a shiny. Let's go. The main draw of this method is sitting yourself in the right vertical position to move left and right along the cliff face to constantly spawn the Pokemon you want and not any other Pokemon. This means any Pokemon above you on the cliff, below you in the water on the cliff, or anywhere else. Like I mentioned before, I was able to shiny hunt pawniards with this method even though they spawn in the river biome. This is because I was high enough on the cliff to only spawn Pokemon very close to the river, but low enough down that nothing in the water would spawn. Another one I've seen plenty of is Fortress. This Pokemon spawns up in the Sokrat Trail, and I believe it's the only Pokemon that spawns in the lake there. The beauty of this lake is it's right next to a giant cliff. So because it's the only Pokemon that spawns in the lake, and it's a large enough lake next to a large enough cliff, you can effectively isolate Fortress without even using a sandwich. I myself ended up catching 2 shiny Fortress with a Sparkling Power, Tidal Power, and Humongo Power sandwich instead of Encounter Power. Oh my god, there's one. It worked. Okay, let me go down the mountain. Wow, holy cow, that was fast. But holy cow, dude. That is a cool shiny. That is a really cool shiny. Effectively, what this amounts to is running left and right along a cliff face, watching as Pokemon despawn behind you, and then flipping when you've gotten too far. It works a lot better on flat cliffs, but it can work still on the rockier cliffs. With this method, I was able to isolate Fortress without an Encounter Power sandwich, and I was able to isolate Pawniard, which didn't really seem like it had a good location to do this in. According to Cerebi, there were a couple locations that could have worked, but because of the biomes it specifically spawns in, usually you're going to end up with a lot of other Pokemon. From my experience, this also despawns Pokemon faster than just running around in circles, and it is very easy to spot the Pokemon you're looking for. I think the 2 improvements there make this the best way to isolate a Pokemon. If you can find a nearby cliff, it can be very quick. In one sandwich for each of the 3 Pokemon I tested, I found 3 shiny Pawniards, 2 shiny Fortress, and 1 shiny Cloyster. And specifically for Fortress, because it uses Explosion, I saved beforehand, and I lost about 20 minutes of the sandwich when I had to reload the game. And this also works in conjunction with Outbreaks. Oh, that's one. That's one for sure. Dude, this method is crazy, man. This method works so well. Let's go! Shiny cloyster too. I'm amazed though how well this wall climbing thing works, you know? Because if that was under the water, I don't know if I would have seen it as well. So it kind of feels necessary to climb the cliffs anywhere that you can, for water type Pokemon at least. Let's go! Shiny cloyster. That's so exciting. If you guys like this video and you want to see more of it, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any other unique locations where you found a shiny Pokemon.